Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Joined by Coach Holt and his sweet lid, Coach.
Oh, yeah. Please, 89ers. Pick the 89ers, and they picked their new name down here in Oklahoma City, Case.
I was going to say, is that an 89ers hat? The season's over, so we can talk about it now, right?
Oklahoma City Baseball Club officially, but in your mind and my mind and millions of other Oklahomans, we hope they go back to the 89ers, but whatever, I'll support them no matter what they do. Just don't come up with another weather thing. We've already got the thunder.
Yeah.
That one had to grow on me myself, so let's don't come with lightning or anything like
tornadoes
that.
Or
tornadoes.
Something like
that. Let's get away from that. Go back to the history, 1889. That'd be an easy one, anyway.
Yeah, it sure would be.
Editorial comment.
I'll tell you what, if you cannot get excited this morning, it's like Christmas morning for a kid, man. Yep. You wake up, and this is the one we've been talking about for a long time. If you can't get excited about today, then I don't know what you can get excited about. Man, I am so pumped, Coach.
I just thought about what I used to tell you guys 100 years ago. If you can't get excited to play today, go be a librarian. And it's not. I know a lot of outstanding librarians. I know outstanding librarians. I love them. I just figured that was maybe a low-stress job. I'm probably wrong, but yeah, I used to say, if you ain't ready to play today, go be a librarian. But anyway, kind of same thing, Case. Just the 3-game lead with a 3-game series against the people chasing you. Oh, man. I mean, this is what it's all about. And I love it. I've told you this before in previous shows. The Dodgers are having to play, dude.
Yep.
They're having to fight, scratch, and claw right up to the end. And, you know, I like it. They're staying in that scratch and claw mode. And as we know, that's what's going to win the playoffs.
Of course, you know, like my coach's agenda would go to doomsday scenario first.
Sure,
like
always.
What is the absolute doomsday scenario that can happen here? The doomsday scenario would be obviously if you lose 3, then the Padres. That's the only way that they control their own destiny.
Right.
They play the Arizona Diamondbacks next. The Dodgers play the Colorado Rockies. Which, hey, the Rockies we saw they can play very good offense, especially in Colorado. You don't want to go through a grueling 3-game series in Colorado in that altitude. So this is, you know, hey, obviously you don't want to hit the doomsday scenario, but to add one more doomsday element, if you have to pitch Yoshinobu Yamamoto next weekend and then you don't win the division over the Padres, then you have to play the D-backs in the wild card. You're going to be doing so without Yamamoto. So let's start there.
Yep.
That is absolute worst case scenario you got to avoid.
No, there's no doubt about it. You just hit it nail on the head there. You can't do that. But if you get into you have something goes haywire in this series where you have to play right up to the end, you got to do what you got to do, Case. I mean,
sure.
Or as we've said before, the Dodgers may not be that upset with finishing second. I mean, let's face it. Get in. As a lot of coaches say at all levels, just get in the tournament. Just get me in the tournament. 2011 Cardinals. We can go right down through the whole list. I guess the Rangers were a wild card last year too, weren't they? As a matter of fact, but I mean, we can go down the list. Football, D-backs. We can go down through football, baseball, whatever. That's not necessarily a horrible thing, but that's not what we want. We want to win the division. That's case number one. But the world won't come to an end if they don't. But like I said, you can't throw your dudes out there and then still have to turn right around and have a series against whoever, and then not have Yamamoto ready to go or anybody else. So that's going to be a tough decision on Robert Snow's parts. Hopefully we don't get to that situation, but you're right. That's the doomsday end right there.
So let's get to that. So we got that out of the way so we can get all the high stress, the stuff that really kind of gets my blood pressure thing. Oh my God, what if this happens? That kind of deal. So we can just kind of face that right in the head so we can get to the rest of the entire series. What a great regular season it's been, 93-64. If you just play 500 baseball, you're looking at 96 wins for a team that's had all these different types of injuries. And you have a half-game lead in the National League for the best record over the Phillies. And here's the big one, 4-game lead over the Milwaukee Brewers. I could not be more proud of this Dodgers club this year.
No, they've like you said, Case, we just look at the division sometimes, but as you mentioned and brought up several times and kept track of, trying to get the best record in the National League, that is huge. And for them to hold off and go through all these teams you just mentioned, Brewers, Phillies, the Dodgers, even on the other side with the Orioles, the Yankees, everybody's gone through that stress. I mean, everybody's kind of struggled since the All-Star break. I mean, we still know those are the best teams. Does that guarantee one of those teams go win the World Series? No. But on paper, looking at it, those are the best. You know, you're talking about the best 5 teams in the major leagues. And the Braves could be thrown there too, but they've had, that's been a big struggle for them. That's not going to happen. But, they have that type of talent too. So, but again, it doesn't guarantee wins and championships.
Yeah. It's like the old Walter Payton joke with the bear, coach. He was in the woods camping with one of his buddies, and a bear came up on their campsite, and Walter started tying his shoes, and his buddy said, "Why are you tying your shoes? You can't outrun that bear." And Walter says, "Well, hell, I don't have to outrun the bear. All I got to do is outrun you," right? That's kind of what the Dodgers season has reminded me of.
Yes, I just got to outrun you. Yeah, there's a lot of scenarios going into that. Case, it's not just us inventing this. It's the proof's in the pudding. The teams that are playing the best team of the year are the ones that always make the run. So, this series is huge. I want to beat the Padres just because I want to beat the Padres and I want to win the division. But, if not, I just want the team to looks like they're playing well heading into the most important part of the year. They're gelling, having to use a lot of different parts. They've made good moves. Like you said, Case, you said it best. They won the preseason. They won the trading deadline. The Dodgers did. They did not stand back. The Dodger fans like you and I and all the other millions cannot ever say the Dodgers front office and staff and the managerial staff wasn't all in on this season.
No doubt.
It doesn't guarantee anything, Case, but I'm proud of them that they said, we're going for it. We're not sitting back resting on anything. We're going for it right now. So I love their attitude this year, and we'll just see how it plays out.
Yep, absolutely. And with the pitching the Dodgers have, there's going to be a ton of unpredictability to the playoffs. It's going to be nail-biting time after nail-biting time. Well, just look at this series right here, Coach. You're getting definitely the three best pitchers for the Padres, no doubt about it. You're getting King, you're getting Cease, and you're getting Musgrove. And then the Dodgers are throwing out Knack and Flaherty and Buehler. So just on the surface, I mean, this is kind of what the Dodgers fans are worried about with the playoffs.
Yep.
Just if you looked at this on paper, maybe the Dodgers, Cease and Flaherty is probably a wash, but I would say that just the matchups themselves, the Padres will be favored in all three games.
No, just what you just said. If you look at the three pitching matchups, the Padres got the edge there. But, and we certainly know they've got talent. But again, you want to look at the Dodgers lineup, especially the way it's kind of coming around now. And Ohtani just is being Ohtani since the last time we've been on there. Not much has happened since then, Case. The 6-for-6 day and back-to-backs, him and Mookie the other night. It hadn't a whole lot happened in the Dodger world since me and you've been home together. But the way the lineup is coming around offensively. So the Dodgers got the edge there. So if you want to look at it that way, the Dodgers, the pitching lineups favor the Padres. I think the Dodgers are always going to be favored when it comes down to offensive lineups against just about anybody.
Let me say this, though. The Padres lead the National League in batting average and in hits. So it's kind of a contrast. Like the Dodgers like to slug, we know that. But the Padres hit, man. The Padres can match the Dodgers offensively in terms of just gathering a lot of hits and being that team that just gets guys on base and gets base hits.
No, they've got the lineup's amazing, and then they bring in the rookie. Since watching the first series there in Japan, I liked him that night or that 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it was.
Jackson Merrill.
I liked him then. He had big hits against the Dodgers, just his makeup, and I like Cronenworth. He's not even we're not even talking about the stars. Well, I guess Merrill is, but Cronenworth's just a solid major league. I've always liked him as a player, defense and offense. And then they got the cats out there. They got the studs. Machado and those guys, and they've got a tremendous lineup, and it can be devastating at times, like the Dodgers.
It is absolutely crucial that you show respect for your opponent, but you don't fear them. That's the old saying in sports.
Yep.
Respect your opponent, don't fear them, and so I think the Padres are one of the teams out there that the game's not over. Or it's not. It is a Super Bowl for them, but the game's not over before the game starts when they play the Dodgers. There is absolutely zero fear from the Padres towards the Dodgers, which is why I think they've had so much success. One of the reasons.
No, they have. And, a couple of years ago, the Dodgers owned them in the regular season. They come out and spanked them in the playoffs. So there's no fear there. And they shouldn't. They shouldn't. I like, again. I'm not a big Padre fan, but I like the Padres. I like their manager.
I love their manager.
I love their manager. I love their ball club, their lineup. I guess it's more respect. It's it's not so much. I used to be that way towards the Giants. I love Bruce Bochy. I said I'm supposed to hate the Giants as a Dodger fan, but I never really did. it was tough. I didn't like Bonds for a lot of reasons, but I'm talking about after that. Even with, the guys they had, it's hard to dislike.
It's hard to hate Bochy.
It's hard to hate Bruce Bochy and the guys they put out there at the time. They weren't. They weren't that. The Padres give you a little attitude on a couple of them that you could take it, but they're not the only ones in the major leagues that do that. So I'll just leave that as what it is. They're not over the top compared to a lot of guys. You see it all over the league anymore.
In 162, we always talk about, hey, you got to stay even keel. It's a long marathon, that kind of deal. But it does feel like even in a 162 game season, there are some turning points. I felt like the Yankees game was a turning point. I thought when the Dodgers beat the Cardinals and the 2-1 game in that last game to win that series, and then obviously the Sunday game where you come back out of the dead. I mean, if you lose that Sunday game, you talk about stress. I mean, there is a world of stress if you don't come back and win that Sunday game. So it just kind of felt like, of course, you got a lot of work to do. You got the Padres coming in. And like I said, there still is a doomsday scenario out there. But it just felt like Sunday was that final hurdle, if you will, to the NL West and to getting you into a position in the playoffs that's advantageous for the Dodgers.
Yeah, that was huge. You're right. We can think back to some big days.
Yes.
Was it one day that back to back, whatever the heck that was, 4 or 5 backs, whatever the heck it was, and we've had several back to back and several back to back. So but you think back to the games. You look on the negative side of it. The Dodgers gave up the big lead in the ninth, like 2 days in a row, and everybody's ready to slice our wrist. Because the bullpen's blown the lead 2 days in a row in the ninth inning, big leads.
Yes.
But typical major league professional athletes, players, great coaches, great players, they don't, it's on to the next play. This is a next pitch business, next play, whatever the heck you want to call it. You better worry about the next pitch because you can't do anything about the one that just happened. Same way with the games, and the Dodgers riding the ship very good. You never know. Sometimes teams go in tailspins on that. This team is too many veterans. You got 3 MVPs. They're not just MVPs because of what they do on the field. They're MVPs as people, and by all accounts, in the clubhouse, as leaders of the team, and being guys that wasn't going to happen. I don't think the Dodgers are ever really going to go into a tailspin. They scuffled a little bit here and there, but there were some injuries, big injuries involved. Mookie, you had some guys, injured. There's some things that really led to that, out of everybody's control. So I never felt like they were going to tailspin. They really didn't. They ride the ship, and here we go, Case. I really feel like they're heading that way. And I may be totally wrong, and they'll lose 3 straight here, and we're just all ready to jump off the boat. But even if they do, just get in the tournament. And if you're playing well, you're healthy, you got a chance, and that's all you want.
Really, just to feel pretty good going to Colorado, you just need to win one. You still have a 2-game lead with 3 games to play, and you figured you could come out and figure out a way to win at least one of those games in Colorado, and then you would just hope that the Diamondbacks could figure out a way to win one against the Padres at that point. So really, getting that first win in this series is big, because I'll tell you another thing about that Colorado series to end. First of all, it's in the elevation, and so you just don't want to have to grind through a tough weekend. Coming off of the Colorado series at Colorado, there's a lot of jet lag after something like that. So you would like to be able to pace all of your starters through that Colorado series to avoid that jet lag. That's number one. And then number 2, I think there's some spring training element to that series. If you can beat the Padres, say, twice, I think you could use it to look at Kershaw, to maybe work with Buehler a little bit, maybe that kind of thing, and just kind of use it as a spring training evaluation period for the playoffs.
No, that's you had the doomsday scenario a while ago. That's the best case scenario there, Case.
Right.
Where you get down the last 2 games of the year, you can get some guys some at bats, some guys that need some at bats, some guys that need some work on the mound, and really not concerned with the outcome, like you said, of spring training, but heading into the playoffs, that would be huge. That's our best case scenario. I love it if they get down to that point where they can do that, to get some guys some work and try some things. And baseball's a game, like I said, it's every next pitch, and here's the day, play tomorrow, whatever. So that'd be great if they could come down the last 2 and have some chance to do some of those things.
I believe last time Padres were in Los Angeles, it was when you had the benches clear a couple different times, and Will Smith said that Jurickson Profar was he said something like he was somewhat irrelevant or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Profar hit the big double the next day. So, it's going to be, I mean, there's nothing like a college football environment, sometimes NFL environments on a charged up Saturday or Sunday. But I'll tell you what, if you could get close to that, maybe even better, it's going to be absolutely, I mean, I just can't even describe how electric Dodger Stadium's going to be.
Well, back to the old days case, I mean, it may still be true somewhat nowadays. I don't think to me, watching it on TV doesn't seem that way. Dodger fans are always known to show up late and leave early. The Hollywood crowd, the LA, La La Land, whatever you want to call it. There ain't no La La Land going on tonight. Those cats going to have their Dodger jerseys on their caps, and they're going to be spewing some hate towards the Padres. The Padres fans are going to be bringing it on. That's the beauty of it right there. That it should be an electric atmosphere. Beautiful Dodger Stadium, with two great teams going tooth and nail. Wish we were there, Case. Get us a flight. Let's go.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And I tell you, it's kind of been a fortunate season for the Padres, too, because while the Dodgers have fought all these injuries, really, other than Ha-Seong Kim, the Padres have gotten everybody back.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fully loaded, man.
Yeah, like I said, they are such a danger. We haven't shied away from that all year. We've said that. The Padres are just good, and they've gone through some things too. You mentioned their pitching staff. They're a dangerous team. Like I said, I've got tons of respect for their team, and that's the way it should be. The Dodgers do too. They're not taking anything. They're not just it's not your grandma's old Padres. This is in the old days. This is a real deal, and that's the way it should be. Because in a week or so, when you start the playoffs, it's the same stinking thing. Every game matters, as they say. Every game matters, and get it going now. Let's do it. Let's just get in that mode and just continue on till you win the whole thing. No use backing off now.
We talk about the Dodgers winning the trade deadline. If you were to make an argument, I think one of the teams you could have made the argument with could have been the Padres.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
Gosh, man, they cashed in too, so there's no doubt they are 1,000% all in.
Oh, no doubt. They're just like the Dodgers. I agree with you. They're right there with the Dodgers being all in. We're going for it now. We're not playing for the future. I don't have a 5-year plan. College coaches used to have, football coaches used to have 5-year plans because that was what their contract was. They had a 3-year contract. They'd have a 3-year plan. They just got to win today. Those guys in college football do too. They're going to be fired, and same way here. So there is no plans. It's great. The Padres are all in. The Dodgers are all in. Here we go.
If you're the Padres, it reminds you of like when the Braves, whatever that year was, 95, 96, when they came back and beat the Pirates. They were down 3-0 in the best of 7 series in the NLCS. And literally, I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but it's one game at a time. Let's just win. Let's go 1-0 today, and then we'll show up tomorrow. We'll go 1-0 tomorrow. And so then you break it down to, wait, let's just win the first inning. Let's just win inning by inning. So if you're the Padres, then you're just thinking, we can't think about the sweep.
Yeah.
All we can think about is going 1-0 today. That's all you think about. Same with the Dodgers.
No, it's exactly the same way. And, so many times back with the heartbreak of the Red Sox all those years against the Yankees, and they get down 3-0, come back and do it. That's historical. That's Red Sox lore now of all the heartbreaks they've had in the past. And they come back and they end up winning the whole thing, kind of the same type of scenario. Go back, get down 3-0 to you think you're done with the Yankees. Same way here. Just you have no idea. I mean, you just got to go. You got to even more so, Case. Win this pitch. Win a pitch. Right. Win this pitch. Hey, you don't win that pitch, I'm gonna win the next pitch. I mean, you hate making it sound that, but it is. That's the way baseball is. Hey, if I get the bases loaded, I make the wrong pitch to Ohtani. We're down 4-0, big boy. Hey, I better win the next pitch, or it's going to be 5-0 with Mookie up. I don't. There's just that's just the beauty of this game. And people who love baseball, like you and I, and several of the millions of the Dodger fans, and everybody, millions of fans of baseball, maybe billions. That's what we love about it.
Regardless of when it happens, what a huge spot! What a huge opportunity! It feels like this is an audition for Landon Knack. To become a playoff starter. We've talked about, hey, would the Dodgers leapfrog Walker Buehler for Landon Knack? Well, I think if Landon Knack goes and knocks it down tonight and does a great job and he outperforms Buehler in this series, I think that happens, which is a shock to my system because of the way the Dodgers operate. So I'm going to call it opportunity. what a huge opportunity for Landon Knack. I talked to Landon about 2 days before the season started, and his one comment to me was, I am so freaking pumped for this season to get started. He was so excited to get this year going. I can tell you, Landon Knack's going to wake up this morning, and this is going to be the most excited he has ever been. He's going to be running to the baseball field, to Dodger Stadium today. He will not. He's going to be like, okay, is it time to go to the park yet?
Yeah.
Can we go? I mean, it's going to be like that. I mean, it's going to be like that little kid bugging their parents. Hey, when is it time to go? Right? That's going to be Landon Knack today. He is going to be so excited.
What a beautiful story, Case. It's all over the baseball. It's all over what you just said. You talked to a young man. Can't wait for the season to start. Now, look, 150-something games later, you're pitching in the biggest series, maybe in the big leagues all year. You're pitching definitely one of the
Here's the ball, big boy. Game one.
Here you go, Randy. But he proved last time he's ready.
Let's go.
That's what I love about it. When he talked to you, he knew what he wanted to do and what he had to do, but it wasn't handed to him. He's had to earn it. I'm like you. He goes out there and knocks it down tonight. But as we talked on the last time we got together, Case, there's always surprises every year. Some team comes up, you'll hear the Fox and now, well, where this guy came from. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why not us? Why not the Dodgers? Why not Landon Knack be that story?
Absolutely. He's totally capable of it. And in big environments, a type of pitcher like he has where you can get, execute and get the other team that likes to get a lot of base hits. When you can pitch backwards and locate and that kind of thing, get them to chase a little bit, that can work very well in huge environments where people have lots of adrenaline. So it's going to be very exciting. I do think mentally he's made for these type of moments. We'll see. I mean, it's baseball. It's the most unpredictable sport in the world. So, Coach, hey, it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. I am so excited. If you can't tell, I hate to wish my life away, but I wish we could just fast forward to 7:05 tonight when the Dodgers and Padres throw out the first pitch. So, hey, Coach, it's always great to see your face. I love you.
Love you too, Case, and looking forward to this series, and go Dodgers.
Welcome to Dodgers Daily Down on the Farm. What we're going to do today is we are going to put the AAA Oklahoma City season to bed, a season that was kind of up and down. It looked like they were going to make a run there for a while. Finished up 79 and 71, did not make the playoffs. Would like to say, first of all, congratulations, though, to Dalton Rushing. This is Ryan Ward you're seeing on the screen here. But congratulations to Dalton Rushing for becoming the minor league player of the year in the Dodgers system, and to Jackson Ferris for being the minor league pitcher of the year for the Dodgers in their system. We'll get to more of them later. But what I wanted to do today is put the AAA season to bed, and who you're seeing here is Ryan Ward, who led all the PCL in home runs with 33, also put up a 258 batting average, which, hey, I think if you're around 260 with a batting average and you have an OPS of 860 and you have the type of trade-off between power and strikeout that Ryan Ward does, that's really just a great year. He had 7 triples on the year as well, 22 doubles. And so Ryan Ward really had a great year. Again, I've mentioned several different times, we've covered him quite a bit, that he is going to become Rule 5 eligible in the offseason, and it's going to be very interesting to see if the Dodgers protect him, because if they don't, I think they definitely are going to lose him. So Ryan Ward led the AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers in home runs. And then the young man, you can take 3 guesses, the first 2 count and don't count, who led the Oklahoma City Dodgers in base hits was my man Drew Avens. I want to cover him one more time for the year of 2024. Drew Avens scored 105 runs on the season. That led the PCL. He also had 147 hits, and he became this year the all-time hits leader in the history of Oklahoma City baseball in the Bricktown era. That goes back to 1998, of which I was there the very first game that they opened Bricktown Ballpark, and I was sitting in the upper deck in right field that is not actually even open anymore. When they first opened that facility, it seated around 14,000. They eliminated that. Right, that the upper deck is still there, but they have advertisement in front of it now instead of seating. And I got to sit there the first night they were open. That was back when Oklahoma City was the Rangers. But, hey, yeah, so congratulations to Drew Avens, the most amount of hits since that period in the Bricktown era. And then here is a young man that had a good season as well, Andre Lipsius, who he got off to the huge start. We know that. He had that big weekend starting in Tacoma, really rode that wave for a while, cooled off, and then finished 271 on the season, OPS 809, 25 home runs. Got to talk to him earlier in the year, and he mentioned that the Dodgers made some adjustments to his swing, gave him a little bit more lift, and that really, really paid off for him. So Andre Lipsius, it'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure why the Dodgers are bringing. He did have major league experience with the Tigers last year before the Dodgers brought him over. I'm not sure with the good season he had this year why you bring a guy like that over. If whenever he does do very well in AAA, why you don't give him a look. That was always an interesting situation, so we'll see what happens with him in the offseason. And then Cody Hosey. I think this young man has squarely put himself in position to be a factor in 2025 in some way, shape, or form. I think he is a guy that just, I've said it a couple of times. Yes, he hit the ball very well all year, but he drove the ball right here. You can see he just started getting more powerful and more confident as the season went on, and he's always been the best, in my opinion, defensive infielder in the Dodgers system, other than maybe Miguel Rojas. But Cody Hosey, congratulations on a great season. And then James Outman. I think James Outman is a young man that if you're betting against, I think that would be a mistake. This is an elite work ethic type of guy. No telling what's going to happen with Teo Hernandez. No telling, with the future of all. Tommy Edman may move back to an infield position. Who knows? So, hey, this was a rough year for James. Very proud of him for rebounding the way he did at the AAA level. No doubt about that. Continue to grind, continue to fight. Baseball is the most difficult game in the world, and there's a lot of failure, and he handled that failure very, very, very gracefully. So James Outman, very proud of the fact that he continued to fight and had a really, really good end to the season, and putting himself in position to where if he comes out and has a strong spring training like he did a couple of years ago, he could definitely be a factor again for 2025. And then Gator, Austin Gauthier, had another good year for AAA Oklahoma City. Average was down a little bit, 247. OPS down at 685, but the on-base percentage, again, was at 355. So Austin Gauthier, who played a lot of left field this year, again, had not as good of a year as he did, obviously, in 2023, but had a good year for AAA Oklahoma City and is still a factor for the Dodgers in the system. A really high bat-to-ball type of guy, kind of a poor man's Tommy Edman, if you will. And then Hunter Fiducia, we saw him make his major league debut and go 2 for 4 just the other night and have a really good game. And this is a guy that, of course, I think the Dodgers will have Austin Barnes next year, so who knows what's going to happen with his role. But Hunter Fiducia has proved himself, in my opinion, to be a guy that has earned some time at the major league level. It'll be very interesting to see what they do with him next year. And then Alan Trejo, the Dodgers went and got him about halfway through the season, maybe a little bit more than that. But he had a good year for AAA Oklahoma City. I know talking to him, he felt like the Dodgers could really tap into some of its offense, which has been his issue. 265, 754. So 265 average, 754 OPS, 346 on base percentage. So that's the deal. Very good defensively, very, very, very professional young man. Just got to get the stick to where the Dodgers feel like, he's better than one of the major league guys that they have available at that level, that as far as offensively and to be able to beat out a guy for major league pitching time. As far as the pitching goes, we saw the first young man that I want to talk about here on Dodgers Daily down on the farm. We saw him just the other day in that absolutely huge game. If I can get to his video right here. Actually, let me get to his live video. We saw him just the other day beat the Colorado Rockies with that 3 innings that he threw that were very, very good and, just very pressure-packed, if you will, because the Dodgers had to win that game. Ben Kasparius was simply fantastic this year. It was a great year for him. He broke through. Could not be more excited for him. And then another guy that had just a tremendous year for AAA Oklahoma City in relief is the Maytag Jack Dreyer. Jack Dreyer is simply just a fantastic young pitcher in the Dodgers system. As a matter of fact, Jack Dreyer, 2.95 ERA. He had 52 strikeouts in 42.2 innings. His whip was just 113, so he had a good year. And I'll tell you, another guy didn't have like an amazing year or anything. I mean, his stats didn't stick out, and he kind of bounced back and forth. But I think he got a lot better this year, and I think he gained a lot of trust back with the system, and that's who you're seeing right here, and that is Yun-Il Choi. Yun-Il Choi, I thought, really had a good season this year. And, of course, you have the Justin Robleskis. We won't cover them. We've covered the John DePlantiers and guys like that. But I think Justin Robles, we're talking about Yun-Il Choi right here. I think he put himself in a position to where if things go right, he definitely could make an appearance at the major league level next year in 2025. So happy for him. I got a chance to talk to him on several occasions. I will get an interview down with him here in a couple of weeks when things settle down with the big club. Let Yun-Il Choi kind of compress a little bit and just kind of relax after the season is over. And this is John Rooney. John Rooney came in hoping to make his major league debut this year. Had some periods of the year where he didn't throw as well. ERA got up to 4.33. The whip is 1.49. And so he was not able to make that major league debut like he was hoping. So that was disappointing. But this is a guy that is a fighter. This is a guy that will continue to grind and continue to work to perfect his craft. And he will not stop until he makes the major league. So I hope I see that someday. And I'll tell you what, Alec Gamboa, he's one of my favorites, no doubt about that. I was I wasn't surprised, but I was disappointed, I should say, that the Dodgers didn't actually give him a chance to come up to the major leagues, because he had a very good season with the AAA Oklahoma City Baseball Club, and he actually got converted to becoming a starter and did a really good job. And so Alec Gamboa, it'll be interesting to see what the Dodgers do with him moving forward, because, he came to the Dodgers. He was a starter as of a couple of years ago. They moved him to relief. He did an okay job in relief. I think he suits better as a starter. He finished the season on the development list, and so he's not actually listed on the stats right now. But he did have a very good year, 3.30 ERA. His whip was up there a little bit because he does tend to lose the strike zone from time to time. But so the whip was 137, and he had 51 strikeouts in 73 innings. But the ERA was good, and I thought he looked good in a starting role. So, hey, that puts the Oklahoma City AAA Baseball Club season to bed. Again, Oklahoma City finished 79 and 71 on the season.